Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS current affair analysis for 7th November 2020, and in this video we'll be discussing a couple of articles taken from the Hindu as well as the newspaper Pioneer. The first article for the day is written by Suhasini Haidar for the Hindu, and it is titled Biden, India and Comfort in the Old Normal. What do you understand by the old normal? To understand what we mean by the old normal, we have to understand the Trump's transactional nature of foreign policy. If we take a look at India and US relations, one of the highlights of the India US relations in the past 4 years has been our ability to build a relation with a transactional nature of Trump, who only looks at a narrow parochial view of national interest without actually talking about the consequences of his actions, given the fact that he is the president of the United States, which has an impact on various other countries. So his actions were often described as short sighted, and even during these times, India has built a very formidable relation owing to the personal equation between the Prime Minister and Donald Trump. Now, when we're talking about the old normal, we're talking about a scenario where the change in the president of the United States and the leader from Democratic Party uh, taking the seat from Mr. Donald Trump. So, how would the equation change given the fact that India's leader, that is our Prime Minister Modi, has been on a very good terms with Trump? Also, there were certain friction areas which we'll be discussing later in the article, which might give an impression that Biden's election will not be a good sign for India. But one has to understand that India and US diplomacy is far beyond personality cults. So the nation comes much above these personal interests. So if we believe that the institutional frameworks which the diplomatic channels have so intricately laid down for a lot of time will be vanished, then that is an exaggeration. However, we cannot brush aside the personal equation when it comes to diplomacy. After all, we are dealing with human beings. So, what is that impact that Biden's election to the President of the United States office will have on India? That is the focus of this article. Now, the old normal in this situation we are talking about is a phase where the role of United States as a guiding power in a multipolar world will be resumed. As soon as the president Trump has taken the seat in 2016, the first step that he has carried out was calling climate change as a hoax and walked out of the Paris climate talks. This dealt a blow to the effectiveness of Paris climate talks because US happens to be the largest emitter of greenhouse gases, and in this context, if US walks out, there is not enough weight for these Paris climate talks. Of course, we are talking about common but differentiated responsibility in the Kyoto Protocol. This is a principle wherein the countries which have historically polluted the environment more, like the much developed industrial nations like the entire imperialist West, US, and to a certain extent the European Union, other states, are also responsible to proportionately take up more responsibility to clean this mess that they created and reduce the greenhouse gas emissions. EU has actually done this and committed towards a carbon neutral economy by 2050. That is, whatever carbon emissions that it will be emitting, it will also take up by carrying out certain structural and policy initiatives that will discourage the increase of greenhouse gas emissions. Similarly, China has also announced its intention to reduce the greenhouse gas emissions and make China carbon neutral by 2063. Even India has committed in the Paris climate talks with respect to INDC that it will reduce its per capita GDP by 33 to 35% from 2005 level. So if all the countries are doing their bit, and if US is actually walking out, being the most significant polluter, this was a huge blow to the idea of sustainability and the sustainable development goals. The next thing that President Trump has done was undermining the capacity of World Trade Organization and started trade wars, accusing that China has been disproportionately using the advantage given to it. Similarly, if we talk about India, it has actually withdrawn the status of generalized system of preferences, wherein certain line items in a trade agreement were allowed into the United States without tariffs. So, this is to ensure that developmental activities of developing nations continue, and trade puts them on a path for a higher economic trajectory. Even this was rejected by the Trump's administration, citing that India has been misusing their power. In this entire framework, the only positive that came out of the Trump era was the foundational agreements. India has actually finalized the foundational agreements, and US recognized India as a military partner or military ally. Now, putting aside all these facts, Biden is expected to reverse certain international stance with respect to its withdrawal from UNESCO, Paris Climate Talks, World Trade Organization. But when we're talking about geopolitics, his policy on Afghanistan will be on similar lines with that of Donald Trump. That is, United States will not deploy more troops in Afghanistan, which will have implications on India's security scenario. This is because it is believed that when Biden was actually the vice president during Obama's era, he was the person who suggested that United States must withdraw its Afghan troops and take out all the military forces from Afghanistan to reduce the military expenditure. So, taking a cue from Biden's suggestion, Trump has actually implemented this idea. Another problematic issue that is a cause of concern for India US relations is the hard stance that Biden might take with respect to human right friction areas, whether it is Article 370 or whether it is the religious freedom that India has been lowly ranked upon, or whether it is about the press freedom. All these are certain issues that Democrats, as such, hold at a very high pedestal in their value system. So, if they're raising concerns in these aspects, then it is going to be a huge problem. To sum up, is India going to actually face a problem with Biden? Given the anti China sentiment and the aggression shown by China across the world, India will continue to play a central role in its Indo Pacific. Do we have any cues to say this? Yes. The Democratic Party, which has Obama at the helm of affairs from 2008 to 2016, actually formulated the Indo Pacific strategy, making India a pivot to the Asia. So, the Indo Pacific region was called the pivot to the Asia because they believed that we have to contain China. In this context, we have to understand that India can actually expect the new United States regime to actually take it forward and also maybe enhance the idea of Quad and look for even economic engagement as well. So, that is the gist of this article. We will have to wait for an official confirmation to know if Joe Biden is actually going to be the next president of the United States. The second article, titled Forgotten Lessons of Azad, is taken from the newspaper Pioneer. So, in this article, we'll be talking about how Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, who happens to be the first education minister of our country, has laid down certain lessons for the future generations with respect to education sector. So recently we have had the new education policy, or the National Education Policy 2020, which spoke about various aspects to improve upon the new requirements and demands of the country with respect to our skill set as well as education sector. In this context, the principle that was laid down by Mahatma Gandhi and later taken forward by Maulana Abul Kalam Azad is the principle of Naib Talim or Bunyadi Talim. In October 1937, Mahatma Gandhi has actually introduced this Bunyadi Talim as a principle which talked about basic education for all. This was basically a fulcrum on which one of the major policies of Nai Talim was envisaged by Mahatma Gandhi. This Nai Talim is a principle which states that knowledge and work are not separate. Mahatma Gandhi himself promoted a sort of an education system with the same name of Nai Talim, which inculcated this work as a part of our own education. So, in today's world, we are talking about lack of skill set. Lot of companies are complaining that our graduates don't have the adequate number of skills to be employed. So, new education policy or the national education policy 2020 was an opportunity to test this ground. However, there was only a passing reference to the idea of this principle where work and education were treated as a single component. In the same context, when we are talking in the today's world, one of the major component has been the debate with respect to religion being a part of education. Now, it was traditionally believed, and even because of the influence of the British, that whenever we talk about religion, there is a possibility that in the Indian society we might be talking about primitive experiences. This sort of debate will actually end up in an inability of the student to talk about scientific aspects and scientific temper development. Therefore, it was envisaged that one side of the argument envisaged that religion should be completely removed from the education system. This is what France has actually envisaged in its concept of laicity, or uh, a cultural project where secularism is treated in a negative sense, where all the religions were discouraged. It is because of this negative sort of an approach that France is facing a lot of issues today. To quote what happened in Nice, a city in France, a Islamist or fundamentalist has actually stabbed a teacher in one incident, and in another incident, one of the teacher was beheaded on the pretext that his discourse in elementary school was antagonistic to the principles laid down in Islam, where they actually tried to objectify or present Prophet Muhammad in the form of a picture. So, this has led to a controversy, and religious tensions were flared, and this has led to violence. This is exactly what the first education minister has envisaged, and wanted to create a society where Sarva Dharma Samabhava is taken as the foundational principle of our secular ideas. That is, all the kinds of religions should be encouraged, and India, as a part of its Advaita philosophy, where tolerance is the cornerstone of that religious philosophy, says that ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. What it actually means is there is only one truth which is learned when one calls it by various names. So, this is the tolerance idea which has been a part of our culture, and our education minister, instead of adopting the Western model, has actually ensured that we stick to this Sarva Dharma Samabhava, which exudes a value of tolerance amongst its children. That is the reason why we have had a pretty positive environment with respect to education. Now, the reason why a generation of adults were grown with this value system or grew up with this emphasis on maintaining peace and tranquility is because of this very reason. Now, we are living in a world that is entirely driven by results, where there is no emphasis on value system. So, in a country that is having a 135 crore population, because of the fact that not enough number of jobs are being created and competition is always focused upon uh, a narrow mindsets of just skill set as a part of education, there is a wisdom that is missing from students. The wisdom that unless and until we value peace and education, there is not going to be a future where every segment of the society feels safe. Now, in what kind of a society would you like to live if there is constant chaos and constant religious tension that is existing in that society? The new education policy, that is the National Education Policy of 2020, had an opportunity to address this materialistic tendency of various schools, especially the private schools, but that has been a missed opportunity. And this is again a missed opportunity to envisage the kind of Nayi Talim or a new age as envisaged by our founding fathers, especially the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi. That is the gist of this article.